I am now dedicating my career to solving identity and access?
The moment was related to my background in national security. After MIT, I was at Raytheon and working on electronic warfare systems. I noticed that in those worlds, you have to work in national security, you have a security clearance. So my fingerprints, these fingerprints right here, were stored in the Office of Personnel Management or OPM database. And then OPM got breached. So 6 million people, including Charles and me, had our fingerprints compromised. And this was an eye opening moment that how do I prove that I'm Tina without giving up my private data, having it be stored in a central database waiting to be attacked? We knew there had to be a better way, and that is what led us to found Badge, Identity Without Secrets.
Yeah, and I know a little bit about this because I had Dr. Herder on as well in a webinar that we were doing. And what you guys are really doing is really astounding because you've kind of, like you said, taken and flipped it on its head, right? You've taken this scheme of storing the secrets in the browser or on our phone somewhere, wherever we might store them. And now you're saying we're not going to store that at all, but we're going to be the most authentic, the most secure. And you do this through this kind of zero trust or zero knowledge authentication. Can you explain to kind of what that means in plain terms, that, how is nothing ever stored?
That's exactly right, Russ. What we do is we allow users to derive a key on the fly. And so no secrets are stored, only public keys. And that allows a user to be their root of trust, whether they're on a new device, whether they're in a different application, they're in a completely new scenario, they're the root of trust, and they're able to rederive their key on the fly. This is ever more important in the world of agentic AI. We really want to make sure that these agents are enabled to do their tasks so that they can be useful to us. But at the same time, we don't want super agents that are overprivileged or an agent that pretends to act on your behalf, but you didn't authorize those transactions or those behaviors. With Badge, we make it very, very seamless to ensure that the true verified human authorized the task while still making it very efficient for these agents to help assist in these tasks.
So I know you guys have kind of these integrations with different systems. Walk us through kind of somebody who wants to get access to the system who's using Badge, or they're not using a password. What are they doing?
In terms of authentication factors, Badge supports any factors, whether that's face, fingerprint, biometric factors, of course, without storing the biometric data, but also other factors like context, device characteristics, even PIN codes can be used in combination. The flexibility allows you to create these N out of M policies, like 2 out of 3. So you can use any combination of factors available to rederive your key and authenticate and prove it's you. That allows you to have resiliency in difficult scenarios, like if you lose your device or you're on a shared device. It allows you to not fall back to the phishable account recovery. It's also the case when you're talking about machine and workload. One of the really great things that we appreciate about this award that we won is the recognition of our AI platform and enabling you to have, in a sense, MFA for workloads, taking away those static API credentials and using that same philosophy of multi-factor to use multiple sources to rederive keys.
Yeah, and I've noticed that's a big problem when you get into kind of this agentic AI world where you might have different, the same program or different programs running and doing different things for you, is they're constantly asking for permissions, because they're, working across systems, working across permission kind of roles when they're doing development or doing work inside of whatever systems you have. And so it is a constant battle that we're now having to struggle with. We thought, getting into Gmail was bad. Well, now you're having to do that, times a million. One of the things that struck me as a term that I needed help understanding was biometric fuzzy extraction from your nomination. Can you explain to us what that is and what does it mean to privacy?
Of course. That is the core of the innovation. Fuzzy extraction is what allows Badge to make it so that you can extract or derive a private key from any fuzzy factors that may not be cryptographically precise, like biometrics, like human behavior. These things are not so binary, and yet because of fuzzy extraction, you can take these fuzzy inputs, context, biometrics, all of these analog inputs, and derive a cryptographic key. And that means a true, exactly every bit matters key. And so one way to think about Badge is we're able to marry these two worlds of the, human, the fuzzy, and the cryptographic and precise.
Yeah.